So I'll be sharing my thoughts as the representative of the largest environmental organization and as an environmentalist who's been working from mountains to mangroves for the last 30 years. I'll take up a few things which Justice Shah mentioned, which Adil mentioned, and which Secretary Saab mentioned. Look, climate finance has been an agreed phenomena. We all know that a lot of the promises are just hollow commitments. There were a commitment that 100 billions every year will be raised. What's the status? The status, and then it's not just the Green Climate Fund, it's the Adaptation Fund, it's the Climate Investment Fund, it's the newly created Loss and Damage Fund. And Pakistan, as the frontline state, has been advocating that the developing South should be supported technically, financially, institutionally to address the climate crisis and challenges. That's absolutely correct, and we should continue to do that. But said that, I think no one has stopped from a country like Pakistan to take local action. And when I say that's where the governance comes in. Who has stopped us from, when we all agree that it's a local issue, it's a complex issue, but the action needs to be taken at the local level. After decades, we came up with a national adaptation plan. I tell you honestly, maybe it's a good document. Maybe we need it, but it's not helpful because we need adaptation plan at the UC level, at the Tehsil level. An adaptation plan for Chitral is totally different from Thatta, it's totally different from Lodra, is totally different from Khuzdar. The challenges are unique and that needs local action. That's number one. Who has stopped us from mapping the vulnerability, the hot spots where we experience heat waves, forest fires, drought, cloud bursts? We know the geographies, we know who are the vulnerable communities. That automatically becomes our top priority. So why? And then we have these organizations. My friend is representing NDMA. We have PDMAs. Why? We need these entities again at the local level because NDMA, will, he'll explain, but my bottom line is action is at local level. It's a local challenge. It's a local crisis. Now, let me come to the journey of Recharge Pakistan. By the way, after a struggle of 5-6 years, we were able to secure $78 million, the largest climate change fund coming to Pakistan. We all know that these entities, the UN system, the World Bank system, the Green Climate Fund is highly bureaucratic. So which means that our own bureaucracy should be facilitating, should be coordinating, should be supporting instead of creating bureaucratic hurdles. So where are the bureaucratic hurdles? So there's a process where, maybe absolutely correct process, where, there's a local GCF board, there's a climate finance unit, and these were, by the way, all agreed upon in the Climate Change Act. They were a climate change fund. There was an authority. Authority was supposed to facilitate and develop project proposals to address the mitigation and adaptation. Yes, authority was not established, but in due process, we started expanding and increasing the Ministry of Climate Change, which after the 18th Amendment is a provincial subject, but we even have a COP cell. Just for one COP, we have a cell, and there will be, I'm sorry, sir, additional secretary and deputy secretary and all those, relevant supporting staff just for one COP. So I think we have signed 18 multilateral environmental agreements. We need to submit reports for all these agreements, not just for one COP. But COP has become fancy. COP, everybody, like 40,000 people attend COP. So we need to have a good booth. We need to have a lot of heavy presence. But in that process, we, in certain cases, divert the money, the climate funding, which Secretary Saab also mentioned, which is supposed to be spent in the local communities. GLOF identified valleys. GLOF identified, where the early warning systems will be installed. But if we slightly divert that money to attend COPs, large delegation, that won't serve the purpose. So we need to, again, my emphasis is when we talk about governance, and it's not just the courts. Why do people approach the courts? If the efficiency, the system is in place. The court should spend more time on other things. Why the Lagari case and then Justice Shah establishing a commission and then we coming up? This is one of the best policy. This is a policy which has an implementation framework. This is an implementation framework which identifies the short term, the medium term, the long term goals. Everything has been clearly defined, the roles and responsibilities. But who is monitoring that? Who is accountable if a process, a policy and regulatory framework which was developed through a consultative mechanism is just lying on the shelf? I think that's where another petition goes and a Supreme Court takes notice that why, the authority is not established. They will establish the authority. They will be members. They will be supporting staff. But then we need to cut down the size of the federal maybe ministry. It has to just coordinate. It just has to monitor. It just has to ensure that the relevant provincial departments and the local government departments are strengthened. They are equipped. They have skilled manpower and they are ready to take action. Recharge Pakistan. So, the proposal goes, the GCF says that I'll take extra 1 minute. Yeah, that's allowed. Because that's very important to understand the process. So Recharge Pakistan, we wanted, I'm an engineer, but we wanted a nature-based solution. We have wetlands, we have natural depressions. We wanted when the floods come, the water should be diverted to these ponds, these wetlands, and then there will be ecosystem thriving, there will be migratory birds. It will also recharge the aquifers, multiple benefits instead of, construct these multi-billion dikes and bunds, flood protection bund, और उसको जब ब्रीच करना हो तो एक अगर इन्फ्लुएंशियल ज़मींदार की ज़मीन है या वडेरे की ज़मीन है वो आपको कभी ब्रीच भी नहीं करने देगा राइट पे ब्रीच करना है and you breach on the left hand side and these thousands of people are drowned. So this was the proposal. The GCF was interested, but then we were asked to get endorsement from the 21 provincial departments. It took us 9 months to take their permission. 11th July, after this 5-year struggle, GCF approves. And by the way, the government had committed $40 million. When the project was about to be approved, they said, we don't have a single penny. We can't give you a single penny. The money was coming to Pakistan, all grant. And in the Geneva event, the 9 billion which were committed, this is all loan money. And out of those 9 billion, only 2.1 billion have been materialized. So even the loan, the government is not getting the loan, and we are talking about the living index, which requires 25 billion. We are talking about the climate crisis, which requires 300, these 16 million on the loss and 16 billion for restoration. When we arrange the co-financing, the project is approved, comes, and then we need a 3-sentence letter from the government of Pakistan to assure the Green Climate Fund that the project is important and will be supported. And we don't get that. It takes us 4 months because there are agencies, despite the fact that for every project we have to take NOC or MOU from the Economic Affairs Division. We are loyal Pakistanis. We are bringing grants to this country to help the local communities address the climate crisis. Why for every project and we don't work on loan money, we don't work on taxpayers' money, we don't take a single penny from the government, we are bringing money, but why do we need to get NOCs from, the entities who matter, everywhere, just to go ahead and bring that money? So I think we need to look into ourselves before we play the victim card and, approach the external donors and partners. Oh, we are the victim. Oh, we are the most vulnerable. Please give us money. Please give us money. I think if not more, it's equally important that we ensure that our own house is in order. Thank you very much.